Hey everybody, this is Dan, and this is the lecture for Module 7. And what we're going to do in Module 7 is we're going to read 2 chapters out of my book, which is When They Hid the Fire. So this is a history of electrification, and we're just going to read 2 chapters. You don't need to buy the book, but if you want to, you can go to Amazon.com and you can get it as a Kindle book or as a paperback. It was published by the University of Pittsburgh Press in March of this year, so it's something that I'm kind of proud of. But we're going to cover 2 chapters in here, and the deal with the book is that, my main point is that electrification is something that we certainly all take for granted, and because of the nature of electrification, it changed the way that we conceive of energy. So in this module, we're not talking about business as much as we're talking about technology, but I think it's really important that we cover it because I don't think we really consider where our electricity comes from. We're on our cell phones all the time. Maybe you're posting to social media. All of that stuff ultimately is running on steam and coal. And I don't think you associate your cell phone with coal ever because it's such a high-tech device. But if you live here in Toledo, where we do, about 80% of our power still comes from coal, and 20% comes from nuclear and other sources. Not much comes from solar or wind where we live, but it's certainly increasing. So that's the point of the book, that the title, When We Hid the Fire, is talking about this idea that we still use fire, steam, burning coal to generate our electricity, but it's hidden now. We don't ever think about it. And that process started way back in the late 1880s when electrification first started to take hold in the United States. So that's what you're going to read about. There's 2 chapters. You're going to read chapter 6, which is called Energy Utopia and the American Mind. And it's this idea that electrification or electricity was such a mysterious, new, modern source of energy that people really didn't think about where it came from. They forgot about coal, they forgot about steam, and all of the turbines and generators that are required to generate electricity. And ever since then, we've seen electricity as sort of a standalone energy source and something we don't think about. So, think about electric cars. Think about the Chevy Volt or the Tesla, for example. A lot of people say, hey, these are great, they're really clean, they're not polluting, but at the same time, you need coal. I mean, more than half of the energy in the country comes from coal. You need coal to run those clean cars. So the fact that that coal and that fire is hidden is really sort of the point of this again. So as you read through these chapters, you're going to read about how this conception, this social construction of energy all came about. It's different. Electricity is different because it's the only secondary energy source that we use. In other words, when you put gas in your car, the engine is running on gas. It's a primary source. But electricity is generated by having some other form of energy generate it. So therefore, it's once removed from its generation, and that's why we call it a secondary energy source. So, part of the deal with electricity was that, first of all, it was always seen as a miracle because all of a sudden a light bulb would replace a candle. You could have electric irons, you could have electric stoves. You didn't have to deal with the fuel anymore. Think about this. If you had to heat your home with wood, you would be more aware of your fuel usage because you would have to be carrying wood in all the time. So you would see the energy that you used. You would physically touch the energy. But with electricity, all you have to do is turn on a switch. So if your house is heated by electricity, you have no idea where that power is coming from. And I think we get farther removed from this notion of coal and burning and primary energy sources as we get more high tech. So certainly a wireless iPhone that you plug in every night, nobody ever thinks about that running on coal, but your iPhone takes about 5 pounds of coal a year along with other energy sources to run. So again, that little thing in your pocket, 5 pounds of coal a year for everybody that has an iPhone, all the way across the country, that's a lot of energy that we never think about. So that's the gist of this whole reading, these 2 chapters, and I want you to understand the history of electricity, so that's why I'm having you do this reading. I also want to bring awareness to you that everything we do has a potential cost, and in the case of energy usage and electricity, there's a huge environmental cost. I think that one of the reasons people have a hard time believing in global warming in this country is because we never see the smoke, we never see how much coal is being burnt, but it is literally millions of tons every day across the country that we burn. But it's hard to believe or hard to conceive of global warming when you look outside, you look at the sky is blue, everything looks okay, but there's really a lot of toxicity in the air from all of this combustion over the past 100 years. So that's the point. I hope you enjoy the reading. If you want to buy the book, go out on Amazon and get it, but you don't have to. And be safe. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks a lot. Take care.